Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to the Divine Mother, and all the sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. We are currently studying the Holy Scripture, Mysticism of Devi Mahatmya, Worship of God as Mother. Commentaries by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. We have just completed Goddess Saraswati, Maha Saraswati, and the destruction of the demons. And now we will be starting the mystic meaning of that insight that we have learned about Goddess Saraswati. And we will be covering it in 3 parts. And it's important to understand the mystic meaning. That's the most important content because that applies to our daily practice and what should we be doing to walk on this holy path and make progress on our journey towards self-realization. So let's get started on this. Dvaita, the vision of duality. So Dvaita means two. Vision of duality is the basis of the demons, or demons are called Daityas in Hindi. So it's very similar to Dvaita and Daitya. This vision is caused by ignorance. Ignorance is the main reason that keeps us glued to the world process. Egoism, which is ahamata, and a sense of mindness, which is mamata, are the two main manifestations of ignorance. So through ignorance, because we have this ego sense and the sense of mindness, we are glued. So egoness is the demon Shumbha that we studied before in this chapter of Maha Saraswati. And egoism is caused by lack of discrimination between the mind stuff, that is the chitta, and the spirit, that is the Atman. So most people don't understand the subtle differences, and thus they are stuck in egoism, or they get attached to egoism. Shumbha is the lord of all the demons. He represents the demoniac nature. And egoism coexists with mindness. So Shumbha is ever united with his younger brother Nishumbha. So that is the reason, due to ignorance arises Ahmata and Mamata, which are representations of Shumbha Nishumbha. These demons are attended by a vast army of demons, which are the varied thought waves that arise out of an unenlightened mind. Therefore, the goal should be to have an even keel and our mind to be ever serene. Chanda and Munda are the attendants of Shumbha and Nishumbha, and they represent illusions related to action and inaction. Egoism and mindness, which is ahamata and mamata, are sustained by these two currents of mental process, which is action and inaction. Both action and inaction can be harmful or helpful. When they are directed by egoism, which is Shumbha, action causes karmic entanglements, which means continued, repeated coming into life and death. And inaction intensifies dullness of mind. So the more inaction we do, the more tamasic we become, or more inert, and that does not help. It continues to make the mind more dull. So we will Dhumra Lochana here, the third demon that was killed by the Devi, represents Viparyaya Jnana, or perverted knowledge. So by the mere hum of the Devi, this perverted knowledge vanishes. Different manifestations of Devi represent the different powers of the self. The Divine Mother at different stages of spiritual struggle. So the Devi is ever watching us and guides us and helps us, but we have to be making our sincere self-effort also. And the 8 families of demons represent the 8 fetters that bind the individual soul. And these 8 fetters are hatred, shyness, which is more like cowardliness, fear, doubt, gossip, pride of family, pride of culture, and pride of caste. These 8. In Hindi, they are called Ghrina, Lajja, Bhaya, Shanka, Jugupsa, Kula, Shila, and Jati. So these were represented by the 8 families of demons that we discussed before, who were all part of this Shumbha Nishambha support system. These demons are Udayuddha, Kambu, Kotivirya, Dhumra, Kalaka, Dauridra, Maurya, and Kalkya. These are the 8. So that is the mystic meaning in part 1. We will be covering more in part 2 and 3 in the coming days. Om Tat Sat.